All right. What up, YouTube? What up, Twitch chat? Playing through some Dimir Shadow today. We just got done with a league with Dimir splashing red for expressive iteration. Um, I'll always like refer to it as Dimir because I think this idea of counterspell heavy Shadow uh, fits the Dimir thought. I don't know what the Dimir preconception, whatever we want to call it. So if we're keeping that basis of hand disruption, counter spells, shadow, delve threat, maybe whatever, then I think I just want to refer to it as Dimir, even if we're splashing a third color for like Grixis or Esper or whatever. So we just flashed for expressive iteration. I don't think it looked particularly good to me. I Anybody who watches the VOD later will have to give their opinion, but to me, I don't think it was something I was really impressed by. So we're gonna run a league with just straight up Dimir for comparison. Also thinking about running a league at some point with Esper, trying out Teferi and Prismatic Ending. I think these kind of cards solve more of an issue than Expressive Iteration does. But we're going to try out this for now. I am testing out 4 copies of Dolphy Voidwalker in the board. It does have a little bit of non-synergy with like Drown in the Lock, but I'm kind of hoping that the ability to just exile a bunch of stuff against a lot of the unfair decks will be very relevant. So yeah, let's just jump in, see what happens. Away, go away. Oh, look at the shame of losing. But for the last league, we dropped like an Archmage's Charm. What was it? A Charm, a Dismember, a Consider, and a Stubborn Denial for 4 expressive iterations. So this time we're adding all those back into the deck. See what happens. Eventually we'll find a first round opponent. Possibly. Es posible. Yeah. All right. What do we got? Seems reasonable. Interaction if we're against a creature deck. Counter spells if we're not. We've got Consider to help dig a little bit. Since we don't have to worry about a third color, we know this can just get a Watery Grave. Oh. Uh-oh. Drawn. Double Fatal Push, not looking particularly good against Tron. Eldrazi Tron. That is not Tron. So let's go for a Fatal Push on you. Convert this while we can. Chalice of the Void, sure. Opponent's not even going to try to play the Chalice of the Void there. Or not put it on 0. Try to Chalice on 1. Is there a reason for like this resurgence of Eldrazi Tron recently? Did I miss something? Also, what are the odds? I wonder how crazy it is to just ignore a chalice on one. Probably too crazy, but I'm just thinking like I could consider dig for like lands instead and just Otawara the chalice whenever it gets to that point, but that's probably greedy. Wraith is a good pickup. I think I'm just gonna pass with Counterspell. Murktide a little bit beefier. They play like a Thought Knot or something. I can. Son of a bitch. Alright, at least it's only a smasher. That's fine. I'm gonna pass with Counterspell up. He said naively. What a fool I was. Show me the dismember. Another dismember? Oh, mad. Not want to let that Fidelity Smasher die. The Saga. Okay. Bigger you now. 3, 4, 5. Murktide. 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 I didn't want it more. Can't do anything about that. You're not wrong. Not wrong. I don't believe. Is there a difference between 6 and 7? I don't think there is, but I guess at the same time, I don't really like need to fetch. Oh, yeah. No fear in the metaphorical dojo. Pass the turn. Make a dude. Make a dude. Make a dude. Make a dude. Not making a dude. Why are you not making a dude? Go get a map. Okay. Got a billion mana. Son of a bitch. Holy God. Double dismember. Find the Tron. Why did you not just cast this? Why are we slow rolling with this Karn? You got a Cavern of Souls and a Reality Smasher. Just put them on the stack. Alright, that was a little aggressive. I apologize. Alright. Salty, Stub. Want some Wraiths. Trim on Murktide. They're worried about Drown. Well, I mean, I still had Drown up there, right? Well, I guess. I don't know. Like, if I Drown, kill a Smasher, then you just get to resolve a Karn afterwards. So I feel like that's fine. Maybe I miscounted their mana and they didn't have as much available as I thought. I don't know. Felt unnecessarily slow to me. Could very well be wrong. That doesn't signal that I'm a Death Shadow deck. I guess I played a Shadow last turn. Never mind. The last game. Of Souls. Not Seer. Used to play a couple copies of Spreading Seas in the board. That's looking pretty decent here. All right. We'll move on. Drowsytron, not a good matchup. Basically anything that can fight through counter spells pretty well. Not good. That's our entire game plan. Our little identity is just counter everything. Yep. So this is why I like Consider a lot, because you can keep these kind of hands on the back of I get to see up to 3 new cards to find a second land. So yeah, Faye said Eldrazi top 8 at a challenge a couple weeks back. Which I mean is as good of a reason as any. But I feel like you'd have to do a little bit more than that to get a bunch of people playing the deck. What do I know? Never been too high up on my list of decks I want to play. I think when the deck first became popular, like right before Eldrazi Winter, maybe, I'd almost picked up the deck like dirt cheap. Land. Boo. Boo. Boo, hiss, boo. Bit of a binding. I don't think the second Rin really matters. We can just find a land pretty quickly. Fetch land would be really nice. Let me get down this Murktide. No way. There is no way you're going for Ice Me instead of just playing out the Rin. Why? Why on earth are you going for that instead of just playing the Rin? I just missed a land drop. You got a chance to do this again next turn. But you'd have a Rin out, ticking up. All right, give me a fetch. Fetch right here, and I feel okay. All right. Why are you fetching out Xander's Lounge? You want to draw that. That's a good draw. Man. Can't do it. Land. Land. Thank you. All right. Just going to get down Murktide here. So that if I find another land, I can play Shadow and hold up Counterspell. Hope you haven't drawn a Leyline Binding. Pretty good too. All right, show me the creativity. Does anybody read what's up? No, you didn't miss anything. Played Dimir with red splashing for expressive iteration, and it was very, very mid. Did a whole lot of nothing with it. I think I'm just attacking you and ignoring the Rin. So we're just kind of running it back with straight Dimir. Round 1, we played against Eldrazi Tron, and they kind of ran us over. What I was asking, if anybody in the chat plays creativity a lot, can you tell me what the draw is? Like, what is it about creativity that makes you want to play this deck? Because to me, it looks terribly boring. It looks like every game is just, all right, I'm going to try to drop a red on 2, tick up, play lands over and over again, creativity into an Archon, and just There you go. I will ignore. Okay. I was gonna say I will ignore a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That card doesn't matter in the slightest to me right here. Got an email from DreamHack to send them some pictures. They're gonna make a banner with the RC champion, Atlanta winners, and 10K winners for San Diego. Nice. That's awesome. Throw them pictures up there. Alright, Leyline Binding makes Murktide a lot worse. Get some of this spot removal out. Dress down's pretty whatever. I think if your game plan involves dress down for Archon, I would ship that idea. Like, you don't have a lot of ways of killing an Archon after you're dressed down, and you're probably not attacking through it for lethal. I would focus more on ways to prevent Archon from coming down in the first place. Maybe they'll intimidate some opponents. I know I'm not going to San Diego, but I think I am going to do the DreamHack Dallas at like the middle of summer, end of summer, whenever it is. End of June, into July, somewhere in there. I would probably do that one. All right. Second Shadow is okay. Ren and 6. Never saw it coming. See, in Dallas, just send me the latest Shadow list before so we can play a few paper mirrors. Absolutely. Totally down. I've been considering like getting my ticket for Dallas and getting one of those computer spots so you can just like set up everything there. Let's go. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday wherever you're at in the world. Appreciate you coming around and hanging out. But it looks super cool. Like, get your own desk space or whatever. Bring your computer. Opponent doing excellent job of playing around Drown in the Loch. Nice deck. How's it doing? It's okay. Like, we played with a third color splash last league that I really don't think was worth it. But I think just like the basic 2 colors pretty solid. Play 2 shadows and hold up Flusterstorm. Played your list last weekend. Absolutely crushed 4-0s. First time I played a shadow deck. Nice. Congrats. What kind of stuff did you end up playing against? Put that creativity on the stack. Do it one time. Fiery Justice? Fiery Justice? No. Okay. If anybody doesn't know modern staple Fiery Justice, let me break out this one. It only takes one time to get got by this, and you'll never forget it again. So it's Naya, deals 5 damage however you choose. Target opponent gains 5 life. I have had a player 5 damage, kill off my Murktide. I was at 8 life. They made me gain 5, killed my Shadow. And I never felt more wrecked in a game. So we think they have Veil of Summer. Also, I don't really know why they're like floating green here, but Hammer, Rhinos, Living In, Humans. Pretty good matchup spread. Okay, so playing the second Shadow here is fine because I'm only holding up 1 counter spell regardless of what I do. Like, if they have Veil of Summer, they get around whatever I'm holding up. Unless I just don't play another threat at all. That seems pretty bad for me, so... Another Teferi. Leyline Binding. Particularly good right here. Okay. That Shadow is gone. That Shadow in particular has been given the middle Shadow finger. Probably be more afraid of getting triple bolted, but so be it. All right, let's go. 1 at Ren, 1 at Thelm. No. Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer. Oh, I've got Veil of Summer. I want to make sure everybody knows that this card exists. Oh, Veil of Summer. Oh, it's Lightning Healers. Have you ever seen these lists? They're just like 4 Spell Pierce in the main, siding into like 3 or 4 Veil of Summer. Like, it's kind of hilarious. You kill Ren, you hit my opponent, and we pray. All right, OP. Kill me, you kill me. Got a Ren. That means you cannot play a creativity and protect it. And I'm okay with that. If you make a token, you will die. Make a token, you will die. Make a token, you will die. We're drawn. Okay. Yeah, so we're just gonna untap, steal the token, attack in, but opponent made our lives a little bit easier. Played against Hammer Rhinos living in. Surprised to hear there was a humans player running around. Reflector Mage can be a pretty big issue sometimes, so job beating that one. Basic Island go. No companion. Obviously, the first thought is Murktide. See if we're right or wrong. No, Merfolk. No Murktide, only Merfolk. I think I'm gonna take Silvergill. Tide Shaper's fine. I've got like Dismember to take it out and get my black mana back. Jeez. Fishies, fishies, fishies. Appreciate the choice of Amonkhet basics. Good draw. Wonder what the reason is to not Trickster. Sure. I was about to stupidly ask what the reason was to not play out a dude there. Silly me. Sure. Oh yeah. I'd shape her down. This man's got spell pierce. Cash in on this stubborn denial while we can. Land. Nice. I could go for considered get down Murktide, but I don't really think I need to right now. I think I can just pass. And I'll probably end up like countering the Lord, dismembering something. Get out of here. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and dismember gentleman here. Which member dismember? We've gotten that out of the way. Got 1, 2, 3, 5. Merkfather. Give me Merkfather, for I have sinned. Please do not double dismember my Murktide. I will, in fact, cry. It will not be pretty. All right. No Trickster is good. I guess it could still have Trickster or like the Lord. Counter that spell, please. And if I hit them with a Murktide again, they can't dismember anything, so that's fun. Nice. All right. Hit you in the face. The only thing that would kill me here would be another Lord, but the Brazen Borrower saves me from that. Cannot Petty Theft the Mutavault because Petty Theft specifies non-land permanent. Sure. Floating mana inside of combat. Don't think that's going to work how you want it to. Grasp, we get EE. Rest down. I'm going to bring in Mystical Dispute. Dispute's kind of like this really awkward judgment call of, hey, this looks really good if my opponent doesn't have the card Cavern of Souls in their deck. And then for every cavern they have, it gets worse and worse and worse. But it's better than like Stubborn Denial. Unless, of course, they have Aether Vial. But Stub's bad against that too. There's a non-zero chance we end up trying to steal that. There's a much higher than non-zero chance we end up trying to steal that. No land out of them is nice for us. Got this fun little play of Trickster to tap something down and then Harbinger immediately after to bounce it. If we were to play out like a Murktide. You want to flash in something here that's A-okay with me. Okay. All right. If they tap off a Vial, or not tap off a Vial, if they tap down to like put a creature on the stack, then yeah, I steal the Vial. Am I stealing the Vial? Maybe I'm not. It's like really annoying, but at the same time, Maybe I just deal with it on 2 so I can't vial anything in. Okay, I talked myself out of it. Some of these. Seems like fairly aggressive creature use there. Alright. Spell Pierce, Harbinger of the Tides. Get Island, play a Murktide. There you go. Saving this. Okay. Harbinger, Spell Pierce. So I will pass a turn, plan on like, I guess, Infernal Grasp on their upkeep. That's fine. Tide Shaper's fine. All right. I kind of think they'll counter the dress down if I go for it. I think I will. Like this Spell Pierce has got to be getting just like worse and worse. Yeah. So there's not a huge reason to hold on to it. Shadow's good. Let's crack in Murktide. Get the Harbinger. Oh my god, it's Lightning Helix. Shadow. Kind of want to just take this Tide Shaper. Yeah. My Tide Shaper. Why not dress down in response to Harbinger and just pay the 2? Because they wouldn't cast the Spell Pierce if I have the 2 mana available. Like, no reason for them to do that. Yeah, I'm killing this, getting in there. Makes Murktide bigger. Murktide doesn't get bounced. So, yeah, but I don't really care about Murktide getting bounced. I just want to get all their cards out of their hand. Like, they're not really doing anything. I can always replay the Murktide. But I got him to play use a spell pierce on something that like really didn't matter, and got to untap with Archmage's Charm, one known card in their hand, the ability to like play out all my stuff again. Kind of feels like another Harbinger. Never mind. You were at 2. Lord. Lord that conveniently gives my Tide Shaper Island Walk. Vault doesn't do it. Yeah, why aren't we playing Island Walk Merfolk? Is that what we're missing? It's got to be like the one missing piece of the shadow puzzle, right? Just play all the Merfolk in our deck. Dimir Merfolk Tide. Dimir Death Spiralin. JP, what's up? Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday. What do you target with the Prismatic and Rakdos Shadow? Sanctifier on Vec. But also just like anything that's got cheap dudes. It's really good against the Prowess decks. Really good against like Hammer Time. Opposing Planeswalkers like Teferi and Wrenn 6. Or Wrenn 6 really. Teferi a little less so. Opposing Ragavans. All that sort of stuff. So you don't like Unholy Heat? Unholy Heat's just not proactive enough in like Rakdos Shadow. Like your goal is really to get a threat on the board and push the advantage. And Unholy Heat kind of has this issue of you get it on the board or you play it out when your opponent's already doing something. But if your opponent's not doing anything, it's just a dead card in hand. You know what I mean? Like in Rakdos especially, you want like as few of your cards dead as often as you possibly can have them be dead. Straw. These straws are on fire. These straws are on fire. See, I went to that event at the weekend with my brew. 160 players. How'd you do? See, I'm not judging you. Just wanted to hear a pro opinion since I wanted to play Shadow my RCQ. I would not consider myself a pro by any means, but just a Shadow enthusiast. Prismatic Ending is much better Magic card than Unholy. Sometimes. I think Prismatic Ending has more live hits more often than Unholy Heat does. Took me. I don't want to sue anybody. Expensive. All right. We're definitely getting down Merc Tide here. 5/5 Murktide on the board is better than a nothing Murktide in hand. But yeah, like Unholy Heat's a fine magic card when you have the ability to like filter it away when it's dead. But if you don't have that ability, then you're kind of stuck like staring at the wall doing nothing. Oh, Murktide. Have an uncanny ability of just ripping solitudes. All right. All right. 8 rounds, went 4-4 after going 3-0 at the beginning. They had no breaks. Every match went to time. 3 of the matches that lost were against Blood Moon. That sounds horrendous. Found a Renin 6. Here. Right. I guess we're going Dismember Murktide, Flash in a Borrower. Green, green, white, red, green. There we go. We got there. Member. Which member? This member. Ha ha. The only loss I got was against an Omnath list. They got a game loss for sitting at the wrong table and being 4 minutes late. Ooh. Ooh. I don't really want to like bounce any of their creatures, so hard casting this borrower is fine. It's a good pickup. Get in there, Brazy B. 7-turn clock. Let's do it. Second Omnath. Or third Omnath, sorry. Not third Omnath. Risen Reef? Nope. This. Prismatic Ending for 3. I think I just let them have this so I can keep my counter spell. Obviously, I'm going to draw a Death Shadow off the top right here. That was almost it. You guys would have been surprised if I drew it, though. I'd have been surprised if I drew it. Just have all pitch elementals in hand. We got a bunch of pitch elementals, like, just add the... Oh, they don't have Kahira? They didn't add that to their hand at some point. I wasn't paying attention, did they? I'll push. Feel really bad if they added that to hand. What would they run if they're not running Kahira? Unless they just forgot to reveal it? That doesn't seem like a good reason. Shadow. 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 Sure. Got an Eladamri's call. Or an Omnath. Alright. I think I just have to kill this Omnath instead of countering it. So I can save my counter spells for like a solitude or something. Like obviously I don't love giving them free cards, but playing the odds here. The odds that we're about to top deck this Death Shadow. Almost. Alright, OP. I'm going to counterspell everything you hold dear in this life. We're also up to 6 cards. They've got to be sandbagging a land, right? Just trying to wait for an Omnath to resolve. Ragavan. Eternal Witness. That is going to be a no from me, big dog. All right, watch this shadow off the top. Right there. Basically a shadow. Just been brewing it again. It's a really underperformed card. It's been Fable of the Mirror Breaker for me. Fable's been underperforming. Yeah, I had a big discussion with was it chat like yesterday or the day before about Fable, about how I think the card is just like a a card that does a mediocre job of everything, but it's not like especially good at any one thing. Threat. Um. Okay. I like an Archmage's Charm. All right. Let's see what JP is brewing up here. 5-color land destruction. Modern staple. Chandra, Teferi, Bloodbraid, Brazen Borrower, Fury, Boom Bust, Stone Rain, Dead and Gone, Fire and Ice, Fable, Leyline Binding, Seiju, Emrakul, Karuga, Out of Autumn, Leyline of the Void, Temporary Lockdown, Unmoored Ego. So, person just has Fable. All right, wrong list. Gotcha. That makes more sense. Yeah, JP's not talking about Shadow, unfortunately. Hard casting a Fury. Hmm. 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 All right. Something off the top that's good. Yes. Yes, that is something off the top that is good. All right, new corrected 5-color land destruction list. Literally says new 5-color land destruction. Okay. Nahiri the Unforgiving, Teferi, Bloodbraid, Bone Crusher, Fury, Spyro, Boom Bust, Pillage, Dead and Gone, Fire and Ice, Leyline Binding. So swapping out a 4-mana Chandra into Teferi for 2 Nahiri. Swapping out Fable of the Mirror Breakers for Bone Crushers and Spyro. Yeah, I like it. Uh, this is just casting a Fury. Okay. Okay. I believe I attack and I dress down on my instep. The way we've got an active dress down through their turn. Still fine with 3 Teferi. Just want to try the Nahiris. I think it would be a next big thing. It's good. I don't know if I'd say like next big thing. But I mean, it's fine. Leyline Binding. Leyline, no. Leyline. Haven't we done this before? I swear we've had this conversation with somebody today. Just binding, binding, no, 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 prismatic ending. Okay, fine. We've done this song and dance. Attack. Attack. Do it. You forgot about dress down. You want to get the damage in. Stubborn Denial too good for modern. Have you read the card? It's Stubborn Denial is like a Z tier magic card. That's that thing like. Oh, I'm absolutely hard casting this. Like, this isn't even up for debate. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Here's a 3/4 swamp walk. Does the opponent have a swamp? Oh, you bet your sweet ass they do. Look at that poor little swamp over there. No! No! Get it out of here! It really doesn't know who they should be fearing right now. It's not the Shadow. This Shadow is just a means to an end, and the end is getting to hardcast Street Wraiths. Alright, counterspell off the top. Counterspell off the top. Off the TZ. Never cared about a Teferi in my life. Alright. We got... I figure like anything live they draw, I can't deal with anyway. If it's like a Solitude, I can't Fatal Push it, so killing Teferi doesn't really matter. If I had drawn a counterspell of some sort, then I would absolutely kill the Teferi. But because I have not, that plan goes a little out the window. And by the looks of it, I am assuming my opponent has drawn a Solitude. Or just another Leyline Binding. Okay. Okay. Street Wraith gamers. Street Wraith gamers. Hold. Hold. Is that the last binding? No, they've got one more. Hold. Hold. Brothers, hold. Come on. Come on. You got nothing. You got nothing. Nothing. Thing you have is nigh. Well, that's dangerous because you're looking at a bunch of counter spells off the top of my library. All right, something bad. Yes! Yes! Street Wraith! Street Wraith! Oh man, is Street Wraith too good for Modern? Yes! Yes, it is. Oh, baby. Street Wraith stares down Renin 6, Teferi, Leyline Binding, Solitude, Omnath, Ragavan, and he don't give a fuck. Street Wraith gives no fucks, no survivors. Oh, you cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Only hope to be on the right side of his mercy. I'm not tearing up. You're tearing up. WotC really fucked up when they put True Name Nemesis into Modern. Oh. Street Wraith, you are a soul that is too good for this world. Stable like a Porsche with no brakes. Oh my god. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'll try and what is my purpose to make Street Wraith unblockable? I hope that was a Rick and Morty reference. I really do. What is my purpose? To pass butter. Oh. Look at opponent not fetching a black source here. They know. They've got it figured out. Alright. We're probably... I guess we're not too dead to the monkey. Oh my god, their hand is terrible. Alright. See what happens. If they miss the second land drop... they've got another Ragavan. Whoops. If they miss the second land drop... maybe... they're going to Flusterstorm my Thoughtseize. Okay. Is a thing you are allowed to do within the confines of the game. Also, here's a shadow. Leyline Binding, Omnath, Eladamri's Call, second Ragavan. So I'm pretty sure I've got to take another hit from Ragavan. Is Mana Traders event Saturday? Yes. It is Saturday, and I believe 10 a.m. I can't remember if it's Central or Eastern time. But we'll be playing. Are they just gonna main phase Eladamri's Call for a Solitude? That is glorious. Got rid of Omnath for it too. Okay. Leyline Binding, second Ragavan. They're a Misty off our deck. Okay. Gonna main phase Consider, because if I find... guess I'll take that. Probably gonna end up just like dress downing this Ragavan. So what if I upkeep dress down? Probably doesn't do a whole lot, right? Whatever. Opponent, you are simply slowly passing time until we find a Street Wraith. That's all these turns are. Nothing you have done matters. Nothing I have done matters. We are just digging for Street Wraith. Leyline Binding, second copy of Ragavan. I'm going to attempt. So much of me wants to just steal the treasure. But I understand that might be a little bit greedy. No. Fourth land, our only weakness. Maybe they put an Omnath on the stack here. I'd be so happy if they put an Omnath on the stack. Leyline Binding costs 2. They still don't have a black source. Just keep that in mind. Our opponent is fearful of the card Street Wraith. Like, terrified of Street Wraith. Like, opponent is having nightmares about Street Wraith. And cost for it. You got a Solitude. Dang. That would have been nice. The Leyline Binding this Prismatic ending. Sure. Is endinged. Endinged. I guess this is in the way a little bit. Sorry. Sorry. Get out of here. Alright. Leyline Binding. That's it. Yes. Yep. We will attempt to counterspell a Leyline Binding. Got a second one, that's fine. I just get a Murktide down. If you don't have a second one, that's also fine. Oh, yeah. Down to 1. Play a Dolthy. Play a Murkfather. 2, 3, 4, 5. Go. Dolthy is just like Diet Street Wraith, right? Like, it's Street Wraith with worse toughness. Street Wraith that can't survive Bolt. Risen Reef. Yeah. Opponent, you died to Street Wraith. Street Wraith and his lack of mercy for the non-believers. All I want all the watchers to do is to look themselves in the mirror tonight and say, would Giganta have won that game 1? No. No, it would not have. They'd have chump blocked the shit out of that Giganta. You know what they couldn't do? Chump block the shit out of that Street Wraith. You're going to go home and you're going to put some respect on his name. Street Wraith MVP indeed. Like, I said I wanted to play Dolphy for the Grave Exile and for the big mana stuff. No. I just want Street Wraith 5 through 8. But Street Wraith don't share the main deck with nobody. So they got relegated to the side. On VP walk. Alright, where's my coin? Flipping a coin as to whether to keep this or not. Coin, coin, coin. I've got a coin somewhere. Think. Aha. Aha. Oh, come back here. Alright, all we got's a penny. So, heads. You can't see that very well. Heads, we keep it. Tails, we throw it back. Heads, we keep. Tails, we throw it back. The result is heads. We keep it. Keep it. We care about a basic swamp. Easy. Easy. Didn't even have to cycle Street Wraith. We can keep him to hard cast on this fool. He's over there with basic swamp like I'm protected. You ain't protected from these hands, son. You know what? You probably got a an archive trap. That's fine. I've got a Street Wraith. Nice. Nice. It's over there licking his lips at the fact that somebody's playing Street Wraiths against him. Fatal Push, a poor little 1/1 shadow, you monster. Oh boy. Needed lands. Did not see lands. Oh, I wonder if he goes for the Field of Ruin. Dang. That'd have been dope. We went like Field of Ruin, we float mana, go get a basic, and then alright, so I don't want to fire off removal spell right now. I want to wait for him to activate. Grab. That's right. I've got lands. We've got basics. Yes, we do. We've got basics. How about you? It would be really cool to draw would be Murktide Regent. I guess. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I guess Tasha isn't even like that good against us with 4 Murktide and yeah, we do still have another Watery Grave. Nice. I was gonna say with 4 Murktide and 4 Street Wraith. Alright. Give me a land. A land, or we still have another Stubborn Denial? Yes. Ooh, baby, I love. I want to fetch now because I don't want my opponent milling over my Watery Grave. Carry on. No. My Murktide. This. What's this? Okay. Second Merc off the top. All right. So 1 shadow, 2 shadow, 3 shadow. We still have a shadow. We still have 2 more Murktides. Not dealing with that today. All right, Merc or Shadow? Merc or Shadow? I guess technically that lets us cast Brazen Borrower. This is a hell of a game 1. Only 10. They caught 1 Murktide. No! Damn it. Double Tashas. Get out of here. The double Visions of Beyond. Double Tashas. Double Field of Ruin. Might want the Dolphies. Sorry, Wraith. Not the matchup for you. Electric Bob coming in with a raid. Welcome, welcome everybody. Hope you had an awesome stream. I assume some sort of BGX, but the details are endless. We're currently playing through some Dimir Shadow. Match 5 right now. We're 3-1, down a game to Mill. So we'll see what happens. But welcome everybody from yep, was on Rock. Figured. That sounds like BGX to me. It's like a Reed Duke honorary stream. Just Thought Seizes and Tarmogoyfs. But for everybody coming over through the raid, welcome, welcome. If you haven't been here before, my name is Michael, or Control Freak on Magic Online. Play a lot of Modern, especially a lot of Death Shadow. So if you're interested in checking out anything Death Shadow related, you probably came to an okay place. Unless, I submit. Submitted. Figure it out. Okay. Kills crabs. I've got a threat. Ironically, my threat doesn't involve me having to fetch in any way, so nice. Got to consider if they don't do anything I care about. Murktide turn 2. If I had a fetch land, then maybe we would have gotten to. But unfortunately, we are no fetch gamers. It's a Dothy. Carry on. That's right. Exile your fetch land. Fear Street Wraith Jr. over here. Are we gonna get to do it? Fetch. Fetch. Ooh. Oh. Oh, we're gonna get to do it. And so kind of you, OP, to set up our graveyard like that. So let's kill the crab. Dun, 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 dun. There's a Murktide. Carry on. Carry on my wayward son. Got nothing. You got nothing. And you actually got nothing. A little bit bad. Maybe you had something. Are they just sitting on like triple archive trap? Like, man, I almost had him. Give me something to Stubborn Denial. All right. Yeah, I could go like dismember my own Murktide, fatal push it, untap, play this Murktide, and grow the first one to lethal. Is that something that I am at all interested in? I don't think so, because I kind of feel like they've got another Otawara here. That's the vibe I'm kind of getting. See if I'm right. Very second Otawara-y kind of vibe. But if this is something like cycle fraying sanity into untap drown, then I'll just keep up like stub and whatnot. Or they just have nothing for this Murktide. Is their whole hand just like archive traps and drown in the locks? I really want to know what their hand was. Like 6 cards, never cast a mill spell. even if you have like surgical extraction, you cast it for the information going into game 3. Bunch of anti-street wraith tech stuck in hand. Not even gonna get to cast all of these. That's a good anti-street wraith card. Vapor Snag. That good anti-street wraith tech. Not gonna get to cast all these Vapor Snags. God. Opponent. Opponent's not that serious. It's not that serious. Missed the end of the Dimir with EI League. How'd it feel? It did not feel worth the third color to me. Like, maybe I'm the only person that felt that way, but it didn't really seem like it was the place to be. There's the archive trap. Knew you were around here somewhere. Countering that, because that mills more than a crab with a land mills. So, shit. Fort mission. All right. Got a shadow going. Did catch one of the Murktides, so that's a plus. You out of here. It didn't get Brazen Borrower, so we still got that in the deck, I believe. Yeah. Still got Brazen Borrower that can take out Leyline. All right. All right. There goes the Brazen Borrower, so that plan's out the window. Do still have 2 more Shadows. Bunch of Dothies. Go ahead and fetch and shock and get that out of the way. Oh, they have a... Oh, yeah, they cycled. That's right. Mika Koro. That one might be a little problematic. Or they just top deck a fetch land. Okay. Let's consider counterspell. Shadow? Shadow? Am I stealing a crab? I think I am. Am I? Oh, man. Maybe not. Like I don't know if I'm winning this without finding one of my shadows. I don't know if like stealing a crab really does anything for me. I mean, okay. Shadow off the top. This hard cast archive trap. Mm, okay. Does Mill normally play Mika Koro? Or is that like this person's tech? Want to call it tech? I know they play the one that bounces itself, a Boro. But I don't think I've seen Mika Koro in any list before. Then why are you main phase having me draw a card? Like, you definitely don't want me getting to untap with cards. And what do you have Drown in with Leyline? Okay. Is there any way cannot get Murktide down right here if I Otawara? Okay. Step in the right direction. Fetch land. Do I have any fetchables left, or is that just to put something in the graveyard? I do have another Watery Grave. Visions Beyond's just a redraw, sure. Otawara, this. Come on. Did I miss over a Watery Grave? Oh, yeah, I did. Didn't see it. Okay. So then we're just passing here. See if maybe they put what's it called on the stack? All right, let's think real quick. Countering Leyline is the level 0 play. It's the obvious thing to do, but is it the best thing to do? Is there an argument for I would rather just like Archmage's Charm, draw 2? Because Leyline doesn't trigger like Rest in Peace. So it doesn't exile everything that's in the graveyard when it resolves. What threats do we have left? So this is 1 Dolphy, 2 Dolphy. So we still have 2 Dolphy. 1 Shadow, 2 Shadow, 3 Shadow. Still have a Shadow. 1, 2 Merc. So no more Murktide. Borrower's gone. So 1 Shadow, 2 Dolphy. All right. I'll feel a lot better if they go for like a Tasha's or something after this. Okay. So I need you to fetch right now. L Pierce. Okay. All right. Let's see what happens. Something good. Got like a surgical extraction. There's got to be surgical, right? Make sure we exile Stubborn Denial. In case they do have a surgical. All this stuff. Can opponent even answer a Merc when resolved? Maybe? I don't want to say no because I'm honestly like not that sure at this point. Like I'm not really sure what they do or don't have available. I wasn't expecting Mikakoro. They had that, so wasn't expecting leave-in Drown in the Locks when you bring in Leyline or Leyline of the Void. So who knows? What do I have left in terms of counter spells? So I've got 1, 2, 3 counter spells gone. I still have a counter spell. I still have 2 Drown in the Loch. So the rest of my deck is like 2 Dolphy, a Shadow, 2 Drown in the Locks, a counter spell. All my considers are gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Is that right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 lands. There's still 3 lands in there? Okay. Really good draw. I need my opponent to cast some stuff that I can try to counter. Visions of Beyond. That's fine. I'm not going to waste a counter on a Visions. Hard cast a Leyline of the Void. Will Drown in the Loch. No, I want to keep Drown in the Loch in case I need to counter a crab. So I will. Am I stubborn denying? Do I care about this? Yeah. My concern, though, is this Murktide being a 3-turn clock. And I'm a little worried that's going to be too slow. Alright, so that's why we didn't use Drown. Ace. Hardcast Archive Traps. Let's get a Flusterstorm. That's a really cool looking Dark Slick Shores. New set, full art one from the new set. Display on here. Pretty dope. Okay. Now we should be good. I think. Fingers crossed. They've got 3 cards they're drawing up to. 4 with Mikakoro, but Mikakoro takes them off of 3 mana. The moment of truth. Extirpate Archmage's Charm. Sure. Does absolutely nothing. Except grow the Murktide, I guess. Yes. Oh man. That was a crazy one. Alright, so 4-1 with the Dimir Murktide. Yeah, I mean, we went what 3-2 with Splashing Red, 4-1 with just the Dimir. I think Consider looked really good. The extra Murktide was nice to have. The extra Dismember came into play a couple times. Archmage's Charm definitely did. So yeah, I really don't think Expressive Iteration does enough that you care about like splashing the fourth color or third color. Like I think you're just really consistent with Dimir. This is like 5-0 because Eldrazi in 2023. Sorry I'm late to the party here, but instant sorcery exile with Leyline, grow Murktide. So my thought was no, because Leyline of the Void says if it would go to the graveyard, it gets exiled instead. And Murktide specifies, Murktide specifies that if something leaves the graveyard, you put a 1/1 counter on it, but it never goes to the graveyard with Leyline. So I'm assuming it does not put counters on Murktide. Does this deck want Spell Dancer, the new Mercurial Spell Dancer one? I don't think it does, mainly because you're not really interested in copying counter spells. And since, like, if you copy an Archmage's Charm, it looks really good. Or you copy a Consider, it looks good. But then the rest of your deck is like 4 counter spell, 4 drown. If you kill something with drown and double up, that's fine. But you usually don't have a lot of situations where you need to double up removal. Um, so it's like, what's your payoff for Spell Dancer getting online? I think if you're wanting to run Spell Dancer, I would probably play it in like Grixis or something with Bobble, so you can turn 2 Spell Dancer plus Bobble, turn 3 play like a Cantrip or another Bobble, get Spell Dancer online, and then copy like an Expressive Iteration. I think that's kind of where you want to be. What else was I gonna say? I had something to say, but I forgot what it was. Something related to Dimir. Um, oh, Spell Dancer. I I think we kind of touched on it in the first league. One of my big reservations about a card like Spell Dancer is it turns on a lot of your opponent's interaction that would have been dead otherwise. Like if we're playing against Mill and they've got a handful of Drown in the Locks and Fatal Pushes, and we play Murktide, those cards are just dead. But once we start adding in Spell Dancer or Ledger Shredder to an extent, all those cards start turning back on and becoming live draws. Same thing with like Prismatic Ending, Lightning Bolt, Unholy Heat. Like a lot of those cards just aren't doing anything if we have a good like Murktide draw. But as soon as you start adding in 2 drops and Ragavan or Darcy splashing a third color, like all those cards now have text. And the more cards you give your opponent with text, the more stretched your counter spells become, and you're less able to fight over the things that matter, because now you have to worry about, oh, I've got to protect my Mercurial Spell Dancer because it's my only threat and I want to get value out of it, instead of, oh yeah, I don't care about countering that Fury because I just have a Murktide region coming up. Or I know my only threat is a Murktide when I find it. Um, Also, Street Wraith dodges Fatal Push and Prismatic Ending and Lightning Bolt and every other piece of removal known to man, including blockers. So yeah. Dolphy, I don't think was worth it. I kind of wanted to try it out just to see what happened, but there's never really a time that I wanted to draw Dolphy. But I wouldn't mind going back to a couple copies of Spreading Seas and then maybe like a couple copies of, I don't know, something. Some other magic card that's not Spreading Seas. But other than that, yeah, I think that was a very reasonable league.